At my mom's birthday, they presented me with a wrapped box. Inside was a $30,000 bill for my sister's wedding venue. Dad declared, "This is your contribution." When I shook my head, my brother poured his drink on me. Mom shouted, "You're dead to this family." Minutes later, the venue manager appeared asking for. My mom's 55th birthday was supposed to be just a casual dinner. That's what they said. Nothing big, just family, some cake, a few drinks. I even cut out early from work, stopped by this boutique on Main to grab her the silk scarf she'd been eyeing for months, and headed to the venue my sister texted me about. I should have known something was wrong the second I pulled up. It wasn't a restaurant. It was the Willoughby Estate, one of the most expensive wedding venues in our part of New Jersey. Think winding gravel driveway, manicured hedges, a 3-tiered fountain out front. Definitely not a place you book for a casual family birthday dinner. I even double-checked the text from my sister April just to be sure. But there was. Right address. I walked inside and instantly felt like I'd stepped into someone else's event. Everything was pristine. Music playing softly in the background. Long banquet table already set. And a large, glossy box at the center, wrapped in gold foil with a cream bow. My younger brother Drew spotted me first and gave this smug little smirk, like he knew something I didn't. April was standing beside a small mock-up of her wedding centerpiece display, grinning from ear to ear. Before I could even say anything, my dad called out, "There she is." Just in time. Everyone clapped like it was part of a plan. They had me come forward. Told me to open the box. I played along because, why not? Maybe it was something sweet. Maybe a group photo book or even a thank you present. I didn't expect what was inside. It was an envelope. Thick. Inside it, a printed invoice. My name in bold at the top. $30,164. Listed as the deposit for the Willoughby Estate, booked for October 18th for April and her fiancé Brandon's wedding. I laughed at first. Thought it was a joke. But no one else was laughing. My dad stepped closer, patted me on the back like he was proud of himself and said, "This is your contribution. You didn't like the first venue. This one's better. We figured you'd get behind it." I looked at him, then at April. Then at Drew. They were all nodding like this made perfect sense. Like I should be thrilled to cover $30,000 without being asked. I said one word. "Oh." Drew, who's 23 and hasn't worked a full-time job for more than 2 months straight, stood up, grabbed his half-full cocktail and poured it on me. In front of everyone. No one stopped him. April gasped, but she didn't say anything either. My mom stood up and shouted across the room, "You're dead to this family." I hadn't even raised my voice. I hadn't called anyone names. I just said no. After years of covering bills, buying groceries, paying the electric, replacing April's broken laptop, co-signing on Drew's used car, this was apparently my punishment for setting a boundary. Before I could wipe my face or say another word, a man in a suit entered through a side hallway. Tall, mid-40s with a clipboard. He introduced himself as Thomas, the venue manager. He walked straight up to me and said, "Lorraine, right? Just wanted to confirm you're handling the payment today. We've got everything ready to go once the deposit clears." I turned to look at my family. My dad stared at me like this was still salvageable. Like I might pull out a checkbook and save the day. I turned back to Thomas and said something that made everyone freeze. And once it was said, nothing could be taken back. I looked at Thomas, the venue manager, and said loud enough for everyone to hear, "I'm not paying for this. Cancel the booking." He blinked. Asked me once more if I was sure, and I nodded. That was all he needed. He said all right, closed his binder and walked off like he'd seen this kind of family meltdown before. Probably had. Then the room erupted. April's face crumpled. She wasn't crying, not yet, just standing there frozen with this expression like someone had betrayed her. Drew threw his arms up, already yelling, already blaming me. My mom grabbed the back of a chair and asked what the hell I thought I was doing, that this was supposed to be a gift, a gesture of support. A gift? I never agreed to anything. I never offered. I was never even asked. My dad, who'd been standing proudly a minute ago, now looked like I had slapped him in public. He walked toward me and said in this calm, hard tone, "Lorraine, don't make a scene. Just do your part. You've always done your part." I told him no. No. I wasn't going to spend $30,000 because everyone else decided I was the only one with a job. I wasn't going to pay for a wedding venue I didn't approve of, didn't pick, didn't even like. That's when Drew snapped. He grabbed his drink, some bright red cocktail, and flung it in my direction. I flinched, but most of it hit my hair and dress. Everyone gasped, but no one moved. No one told him to stop. No one checked on me. My mom shouted across the room, "You're dead to this family." I didn't respond. I was sticky, humiliated, angry, but more than anything I felt nothing. Just tired. So I left. Walked past the table, past the flowers, past my sister who still hadn't said a word, and out the door. My shoes were sticking to the floor with every step. By the time I got home they were already there. The minute I walked in the front door the yelling started. My mom launched straight into it. How I embarrassed them, how I made them look poor and petty in front of the venue staff, how Brandon's parents had shown up right after I left and saw everything unravel. My dad was sitting at the dining table, quiet at first, then started in about how I'd always been too independent, too proud, too difficult. April stood by the kitchen counter, arms crossed, asking me how I could do this to her. That she thought we were close. That I knew how much this meant to her. I told her it would have been nice if she'd at least asked me. Drew came in from the backyard, still worked up, still red in the face, and told me I was selfish, that everything always had to be about me. He said I acted like I was better than them, like I was above the family. I told them the truth. That I'd been paying half this household's bills for years. That I covered groceries, electric, internet, water, trash, even their stupid cable package with all the channels no one watched. That I co-signed for Drew's car, and spotted April more than once when she overdrew her account. That's when my dad stood up and said it. "If you're not going to support this family, then you don't belong in this house. Pack your things. You can leave tonight." No one stopped him. No one argued. I looked at each of them. No one met my eyes. I walked upstairs, changed out of my stained clothes, pulled out a suitcase and started packing. Documents. A few clothes. I wasn't even mad anymore. I was just done. Their voices echoed up the stairs, arguing with each other now as if I'd left a mess they had to clean up. I didn't say goodbye. I texted my Aunt Denise and told her everything. She responded within seconds. "Come stay with us. You should have left that house a long time ago." So I grabbed my bag, locked the door behind me and drove to her place. It was already dark. She was waiting outside with the porch light on. I got to Aunt Denise's house around 9 p.m. She was waiting at the door, already in slippers, and just said, "It's about damn time." She didn't ask for the whole story right away. She handed me a towel, pointed to the bathroom, and pulled a clean pair of sweatpants from a basket in the laundry room. I was still sticky from Drew's drink. Uncle Ron was in the kitchen watching a baseball game with the volume low. He glanced over the top of his glasses, gave a little nod, and said, "Let me guess." Finally said no. I stayed in the guest room that night, on a twin bed with a pink comforter from Denise's grandkids. It smelled like laundry detergent and peppermint. The silence felt heavier than all the shouting I'd left behind. I didn't cry. Not once. I just kept thinking about how fast it all had snapped. How I'd gone from the golden child to the outcast in one night just because I said the word no. The next morning, Denise made scrambled eggs and toast. Ron came in halfway through with a newspaper tucked under his arm, pointed at a couple of rental listings and said, "If you're not looking yet, start today." One had a washer and dryer. One was near a bakery. I circled both and called. The second place picked up. A one-bedroom above a coffee shop, available immediately. I drove there within the hour, still in the borrowed sweats, met the landlord and toured it. It had creaky floors and mismatched tiles in the kitchen, but it was quiet, bright, and smelled like cinnamon and roasted beans. The landlord, a guy named Malcolm, said the last tenant had moved out unexpectedly 3 days ago. Said he'd had a cancellation with another applicant that very morning. I signed the lease before lunch. When I got back to Denise's, she handed me a small cardboard box with the word kitchen written on it in Sharpie. It was filled with mugs, a pan, and 2 mismatched plates. She said, "You're not going back there, are you?" I shook my head. That night, I started moving my things into the apartment. Clothes, toiletries, my laptop, the box of kitchen stuff. It didn't take long. I hadn't brought much with me from the house. But as I was organizing the shelf above the sink, my phone started buzzing. First April, then Drew, then my mom. All missed calls. No voicemails. Just calls and texts like, "We need to talk. This isn't over. You're really going to do this to us?" I didn't respond. I turned the phone off and spent the night in my new apartment, with string lights on the balcony and the hum of the coffee shop's closing crew below. But the next morning something happened I didn't expect. Aunt Denise came into the living room holding her phone. She looked annoyed. "They're here." I walked to the window and saw the silver SUV parked out front. My parents were standing by the hood. My mom had a Tupperware container. My dad had a manila folder under his arm. I didn't say anything. They rang the doorbell. Denise opened it. "We just want a minute with her," my dad said. My mom was smiling like nothing had ever happened. They came inside. Sat on the couch like guests. My mom started first. Said they were worried about me. That things had gotten out of hand. That I'd misunderstood. That April was just stressed and maybe said things she didn't mean. Then she handed me the cookies. I didn't touch them. My dad said they brought something to help clear things up. He opened the folder and took out a printed sheet. It was a financial plan, a family support outline, as he called it. It detailed monthly contributions, deadlines, and had my name listed next to every major cost of April's wedding. Venue, catering deposit, dress reimbursement, photography. Almost $47,000 total. He said this way everything's formal and no one feels taken advantage of. I looked at them both. No apology. No admission. Just another pitch to sell me the same role I just walked away from. Before I could respond, someone else knocked on the door. It was Brandon. April's fiancé. He looked out of breath like he'd parked and run. I hadn't seen him since the venue meltdown. He barely said hi before blurting out something that stopped everyone cold. April told them you volunteered to pay for the venue. I just stared at him. What? She said you offered. That it was your gift to us. That's the only reason they booked it without talking to you first. I turned to my parents. My mom looked like she had no idea. My dad's face went blank. Brandon looked at the folder in my dad's lap. Then he looked at me. I didn't agree to any of this, he said. I didn't even know she told them that until last night. Something cracked open in that room. For a moment no one knew where to look. And that's when Denise said what I had been thinking the whole time. You better get your girl under control because Lorraine's not paying for your wedding, and she's not coming back to that house. No one said anything for a long time after Aunt Denise spoke. My mom looked like she wanted to defend April but couldn't find the words. My dad kept tapping the edge of the manila folder with his fingers, like maybe if he looked busy enough, this moment would end on its own. Brandon was still standing awkwardly by the door, avoiding everyone's eyes. I finally broke the silence. So April lied. She told you I offered to pay? Brandon nodded. She said you wanted to surprise the family, that it was something you felt proud doing. I didn't question it. Honestly, it made no sense to me either, but you know how she can be when she's excited. That was generous. Excited wasn't the word I would have used. I turned back to my parents. Did either of you ask her for proof? A text? A message from me? Anything? They didn't answer. I almost laughed. I'd been paying half their bills for 5 years, and all it took was one fabricated sentence from April to get them to dump a $30,000 debt on me. No questions asked. No hesitation. I looked at the paper again, the so-called financial plan, and started folding it slowly like I was about to keep it. But I didn't. I tore it in half, then in half again, and dropped the pieces on the coffee table. My mom finally spoke. Lorraine, we didn't know. I said, but you believed it instantly. She didn't respond. I told them I had signed a lease. I wasn't coming back. That the moment they sided with April without even thinking twice, something in me flipped and wasn't going to flip back. I said, this is the first time I've lived alone. And the first time in years I've felt peace. I'm not giving that up so I can be your walking ATM again. My dad started to say something, but Denise cut in. Unless you're here to apologize for everything, not just the venue, then you need to go. She's not interested in round 2. They left not long after. My mom took the cookies with her. Brandon lingered. He asked if we could talk, just the two of us, so we stepped outside onto the little balcony. He looked nervous and I could tell he hadn't prepared anything. He apologized again, said he was starting to see things differently, and that he wasn't sure what he'd gotten into with April. He also told me that April had already picked out a new venue without telling him. Said she was trying to convince my parents to go behind my back again and make it work somehow. I didn't care. I told him he seemed like a decent guy, but I wasn't part of the story anymore. If he wanted to marry into that chaos, that was on him. But I was out. He said he understood. Said he was sorry. Then he left. I moved the rest of my stuff into my new place that evening. Uncle Ron helped with a few heavier boxes, and Denise brought over towels and a bag of groceries. Rice, pasta, eggs, some fruit, and a bottle of wine. The apartment felt small, quiet, and warm. And mine. Later that night, while I was hanging string lights on the balcony railing, I got a text from April. It said, "Hope you're happy. Brandon's mad, mom's crying, and dad is stressed. You destroyed everything. I hope you enjoy your stupid little apartment." I blocked her. Then I opened the bottle of wine, made a grilled cheese, and sat on the floor with a blanket around my shoulders, watching traffic roll by below. It was the first time I'd felt good in a long time. The next morning I woke up to silence. Not the fake kind you get at home when everyone's mad and slamming doors, but real, calm silence. No shouting. No guilt tripping. No demands. Just birds outside and the sound of someone grinding beans downstairs at the coffee shop. It didn't last long. By noon I got a call from an unknown number. I ignored it. Then another. Then a knock on the front door. I looked through the peephole and felt my stomach sink. It was my mom and dad. I stood there for a few seconds hoping they'd just leave. But they didn't. My mom knocked again, not hard, not angry. Just persistent. And my dad looked tired. Like all of it had finally caught up to him. I opened the door, but I didn't invite them in. Just stood there in the doorway. My mom said, "We're not here to talk about money." My dad said, "We just want to understand." They asked to come inside. I let them. They didn't sit. They didn't look around or comment on how small the place was. They stood in the middle of the room like people visiting a hospital room, like they didn't know if they were allowed to touch anything. My dad spoke first. Said after they left yesterday, Brandon came over to talk. Told them everything. How April had twisted it. How she knew I wouldn't say yes, so she went around me. Told them how this had been brewing for years. Then my mom said something I never thought I'd hear. "We used you." Not in a dramatic way. Just plain truth. She said they'd gotten used to me fixing everything. Paying for things, smoothing over messes, being the responsible one. That it was easier to lean on me than deal with the others. That somewhere along the way they started treating my income like family money. My dad admitted that when April said I offered to pay for the venue, it didn't sound out of character, because I had paid for so many things without argument. That they never stopped to think I might have reached a limit. Then my mom sat down and started crying. Really crying. No drama. Just quiet, tired tears. She said they weren't asking me to come back. That the house wasn't the same without me, but she understood if I didn't want to return. She said I'd done enough. More than enough. I didn't know what to say. We stood there in silence for a while. My mom wiped her eyes. My dad reached into his pocket and handed me an envelope. I almost refused it, but he said just open it later. So I took it and nodded. They left without asking for anything. No guilt. No manipulation. Just left. I didn't open the envelope right away. I made tea, stood by the window and waited until the cup was empty. Then I tore it open. Inside was a check. For $7,200. The exact amount I'd spent over the past 6 months covering bills for the house. Gas, electric, groceries, April's car repair, Drew's dentist bill. There was a note scribbled in my dad's handwriting. "We should have seen it sooner. This won't fix everything, but it's a start." I didn't cry. I didn't cheer. I didn't call anyone. I just stared at the check and realized something. They had finally understood, but that didn't mean I owed them forgiveness on demand. I texted Aunt Denise and told her everything. She replied, "Good. Let them sit in it. That's how people learn." That night I walked 2 blocks to the grocery store, bought myself a pint of ice cream and ate it on my balcony in the dark. The moon was out. The street below was quiet. I felt like I had just climbed out of a life that had been swallowing me slowly. The next day I woke up before my alarm. I didn't have to be anywhere, but I still got dressed, made coffee and opened the windows to let the air in. Something about the apartment felt different now, like it belonged to me more than it did the day before. I didn't rush to do anything. I didn't check my phone. I just sat at the small kitchen table, folded the check from my dad into a drawer, and didn't think about depositing it yet. I didn't know if I would. That afternoon someone rang the buzzer downstairs. I figured it was Denise dropping something off again, or maybe Ron coming to help with the curtains he kept saying were too short. But it wasn't either of them. It was April. She was alone. No Brandon. No makeup. Just holding her phone in one hand and her car keys in the other. I didn't buzz her in. I went down. She didn't speak at first. Just looked at me like she'd practiced what she wanted to say a dozen times, and none of it was right anymore. Then she asked if I had a minute. Said, "You have 2. She started talking, fast like she was running out of air. Said she didn't mean for things to go the way they did. That it wasn't her fault, everyone assumed I'd pay because I always had. That she panicked when the first venue fell through, and she really believed I'd eventually say yes. As I always did. She said Brandon wasn't speaking to her. That my parents were barely talking to her. That she felt like everything was falling apart. Then she asked me something I didn't expect. Can you just come back? Not to pay, just to be around again. It's different without you." I asked her if she was sorry, not for what happened but for lying. For throwing me under a bus she built and drove. She didn't answer. So I said no. No, I'm not coming back. Not to fix things, not to sit quietly at the table while you all pretend like nothing happened. Not to be the one everyone leans on when they mess up again. I'm done playing that role. He said I was being cold. Said no. I'm finally being honest. She left without saying goodbye. Got into her car and drove off. And that was the last time I saw her for a while. That night I opened my laptop and started looking for a second-hand desk. I ordered a bookshelf. I finally unpacked the last box from Denise's. The one with the framed photos from college and the coffee mug that said, "Do not disturb unless you have tacos." I didn't feel like I'd run away. I felt like I had finally arrived. Later I called Denise and told her everything. He just said, "Proud of you, kid. Took you long enough." I hung up and sat on the couch with the lights off, watching headlights move across the wall. And that's when it hit me. For the first time in my life, no one was shouting at me from another room. No one was standing in the hallway waiting for me to fix something. No one was making me choose between peace and family. I had chosen peace. And everything was finally starting to get better. For me, this time I wasn't going back.